The Mitsubishi is old enough that the motor bushings have failed. When you get it too hot, it has a little bit of a burning smell, and it doesn't even go that good anymore.
So it goes real slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think we got the battery hooked in right. It's not going at all now.
Try giving it a boost.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to go, does it? There it goes. I think the motor's dying.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Because it won't jump over the logs it used to go ram right over.
We got a new one. So we're going to put this motor in it, right? It's a better motor anyway.
And while we're in there, we're going to lube it up.
Yeah, you probably ought to put something in there too. All right. So we already took the clips out of here. Let's take the body off.
Unplug this first.
Unplug the battery. And I bet we're going to dump that one out too. That's just a weight, right? Right, this is the battery. Get this out of there.
And these it uses for the servos and speed control.
That's the starter, the turning servos, right?
We're thinking about putting a digital speed controller on.
Yeah, we might put a digital speed controller in there, but let's worry about this first. I'm not sure how this comes apart. I've never changed one of these motors before.
Speaking of which, where is the digital speed controller?
We don't have it yet, but we need to take this off because I think the motor bolts in there, and see these two bolts here? Mm-hmm. I think that's where we need to get to it at, and we might be able to reach through there. I don't know. We definitely need to take this tire off first, though, right?
Let me go get the wrench.
I got a wrench in here we can use. Tool. So this takes the tire off, right?
It's the original one.
Yeah.
Only one side fits.
Yeah, well, I think the other ones are supposed to do other things, like other bolts on here. Mm-hmm. It's just a four-way like you'd use for a car, right? So take the wheel off. I think we should take both of them off so it'll set flat.
We took the Loctite. We put Loctite on one because it was slipping in the rim. You didn't see that.
Yeah, we've been working on this quite a bit, haven't we?
Yep, it's old.
Yeah,
we got a grasshopper.
Good. Yeah, it still goes pretty good. Yeah, I bought a grasshopper because we need two, right? One for me and one for you because I want to play with the toys too.
Made by the same company, Tamiya.
All right, I think we should take this cover off and see what's behind it and see if we can change the motor without taking the gearbox off first. And if we can't, we'll have to take the whole thing apart, right?
Don't worry. Am I preparing it so I can get them out?
Yeah, you want to turn? Don't drop them on the ground, okay? I'll hold the car. Well, it might be loosening the whole motor. Yeah, I think it might go all the way through. Go ahead and take it off. They go all the way through. That'll make the change in the motor easy. Must be a long screw, right? Alright, pull it up. You gotta be loose by now. Here, you can get it. You can get all the way out. Okay, it's in the cover. Get that one too. This might not be too bad a job. Alright, should be whole thing should pull off. Can you reach it? Let me see. Alright.
I can see one of the gears.
We'll see the gear that meshes right there.
Mm-hmm.
Those two, well, don't turn it while I'm doing it. Right there, those two mesh together.
There's a differential in here.
Yeah. Let's see if we can wiggle this motor out of this housing. Like that.
Maybe not.
Well, we need to get the wire. We don't have enough wires. These wires, this new motor.
Don't look the gears.
This new motor came with these plugs, but they ain't going to do us any good because we don't have matching plugs, right?
We could just stick the wires in there and then heat shrink.
I think what we should do is take these off and solder them in because this vibrates a lot.
The same motor that's in the grasshopper.
Yep.
Sport tuned.
These vibrate a lot, and if we don't get them connected, they'll vibrate loose and then we'll be right dead in the water again, right? We don't want that. So let's take this strap off so we can see what we're doing. Because we need to get to these two motors right here. These wires, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we should cut them behind this solder here we did last time when we fixed it. So let's cut them back to here. The wire ain't broke there, is it? Looks like it's pinched pretty good. We'll see. Let me get my wire cutters. I guess if we've got a bad connection, we'll know.
I once took the battery in this thing around so bad that it fell out this side.
Well, let's cut this here. Probably ought to unhook this too. Let's unhook this battery. I don't think it connects to that, but just in case. I'm going to shorten things out, right? Don't want to go shorting stuff out.
That actually disconnects the power to the speed control.
Well, to the battery, to the motor here. See it comes through the motor right here?
It disconnects it from the alkaline batteries, basically.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I'm some major scientist sort of geek.
So this is the motor that probably is kind of dirty, so it probably ain't very good.
But we can use it to experiment and run and stuff.
Doesn't sound good. You hear it?
That's probably why I turned
It don't sound very good. We need the gear though.
How do you get it off?
Well, if you look, there's a little set screw right there. See
Set
that?
screw.
It's an Allen wrench screw. We gotta change that.
Why does it always have to be Allen? Turns out Allen's about easier. Because you can't...
And our colors don't match, so we're gonna have to guess. Which one do you think goes with the red?
I would assume that this yellow
That's
one.
what I would assume too, right? So let's hook it up that way. If it don't work, we'll know we got it wrong, right?
Because the green one's probably the ground and the yellow one's probably don't touch this.
Let's get some Allen wrenches over here and see if we can get this gear off.
And if you look real close, you'll see these little green things whipping around.
Well, they can't see you're off camera.
Those are the insulators. If you can look in that little vent. If you can't see, well, there's little green insulators.
You're still mostly off camera. Oh, goodness, that is tight. Let me get a wrench in there, see if we can get that gear loose.
Well, your cousin did
There we
build
go.
it. You didn't build it.
No, I bought it this way. Is there a flat spot on that motor, or is it all around?
And there's a flat spot.
Cool, we need that. This goes to a flat spot. Alright, there's our gear. So we need this gear to go on this motor. We may have to adjust the length of it. You remember how that one was adjusted, kind of? Not square? Because it's got a mesh on this gear in the back. We might have to take a couple shots at getting it straight, okay?
Doesn't spin so good either.
We want this motor, this gear, to attach to our gear in there. We'll have to check it. So let's see how we can get it hooked up and see how it fits first, before we wire it, right?
This back cover kind of vibrates when you turn it.
Alright, so this motor
Capacitor.
has to go into here. And we got two holes to line up with. And we need that gear to mesh. See, it's all the way forward. See how it's not meshing all the way? We need the gear to come forward a little bit more on that shaft, right?
You saw agricultural tires if you watched the last video. The new motor might make it work with these tires.
Well, I don't think these get very good traction. We'll probably still have to put paddles or something on it for the dirt.
The paddles came from the grasshopper. We put
Those
the
will work good.
agriculture on the grasshopper. So, there you go.
Those will work good on concrete. But we don't really run it on concrete. We run it in the woods and dirt, right?
But they say sandblaster. So it seems like you should
that's just what they're called,
put
man.
it in a sandy area.
That's just what they're called. Alright, so now we get this all flush. And we'll see how the gear meshes. Alright, that's flush. Do you think we need to go forward a little more, or you think that's good?
I think we need four just
a hair more, right?
A hair more. I didn't know this cover was hollow. That means it went straight through. That gear right there spins pretty darn fast when you turn this.
Yeah, well, it goes fast, doesn't it? I think this motor here, if I recall, is like rated for like 35 mile an hour on that car. That's fast. That's faster than your scooter goes.
That's faster than I can chase.
Uh-huh.
I guess I can cougar run.
Let's see what we got now.
I can cougar run really fast.
Alright, so that's flush. That's pretty good, right? Yes, I mean, it could go a little bit more forward, but I'm afraid we're going to run out of motor shaft here in a minute. We want to have enough to grab. Let's go forward a little more. We can change this gear someday, too, and get more
Hey,
out of
Dad,
it.
I think I know we had to boost it. The capacitor wire's disconnected. The capacitor here, I can see the disconnected
Oh, you think
wire.
that's why it didn't work? Well,
Yeah.
you did pick it up and roll around a lot, so that might not have helped, right?
It probably disconnected from the heat. It
Could be a
capacitor
capacitor start. We can resolder that and see, but that one motor was getting slow anyway, wasn't it? There we go. That's a good mesh, right?
Yep.
Yeah, now we're about right. All right, so now,
We put the cover back on.
well, hopefully. Let's get this screw out of the way because I don't want to fight with more than one of them. Let's check our gears because we need to put lube in here too, right?
I think we stick the nozzle straight into that hole. Oh, there's an oil surge.
It does, but it shouldn't be oil. It should be a grease. So let's get this brushed off
It
first.
says it's micro geese and O-ring grooves grease with, but
Yeah,
tight.
well, that's a special That's a special grease for plastic gears, because these are plastic gears.
I didn't know they were plastic. I thought they were metal.
Well, the one on the motor's metal, but these are plastic in here. And petroleum grease isn't good for plastic sometimes. It sometimes makes it crack and get yucky. So we're going to go ahead.
What's petroleum grease?
Oil.
Car grease?
Yeah, basically.
I didn't know that the car looked that black once. I thought it was always covered in dust.
Well, I don't think I ever washed it before, so I mean.
I thought they blasted dust on it.
I don't think we've ever washed it.
It says on the grasshopper you can wipe the grasshopper off using a damp towel.
Alright, so there gets us to the gears.
This stuff spelled PTFE.
Huh?
On the
Oh.
right here. That word right there.
Oh, that's the PTF, that's the stuff in it. And grease enhanced with PTFE. It's some kind of chemical, who's it? Oh, our servo's coming loose. We're going to have to reattach it. Let's see if this stuff does any good. Oh, I have to cut the end off of it. It's closed, right?
Maybe it's made for home gamers.
Scooshed it too much. Let's see if we can get it out of there. Oh, there it goes. All right, let's put some of this in there. And just a little bit on the gear, and then it'll moosh around. Kind of like that, right? A little like that. Let's get some on this gear too. And when it runs around, after running around a million times, it'll spread out. Okay? So put the lid on it. Close that up. Let's get it. Well, I guess I can open it up. Let's do this. Let's open it back up, and I can turn the axles. Get it to spread around a little bit.
Something that was made in 1986. It sure is reinforced.
Get that spun around. Put a little more in there just for kickers, right? Couldn't hurt. Can't hurt. Put a little more grease on it. Alright, I'd like to get some gears on that one too if we could. There's a small gear here too. It's the gears what makes it go fast, right? So I'd like to get some gears back here too if we could.
You viewers probably can't see this, but there's two capacitors. And one of them's disconnected, so you probably had to boost it.
Yeah, that might have been the issues. We might have broke it with a stick, but it wasn't going very good. It was getting hot. The motor was getting too hot.
And it had like a grilling, burning sausage kind of smell.
And it wasn't going very fast, right?
Now I probably can't even chase it if I Cougar run.
Alright, so we got that part. Now,
It'll probably run the hills a lot better.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
Let's see if we can get this motor in here now.
I never thought the Tamiya was blue. I thought it was black or red, but the star is red and blue.
We gotta line up these holes, which I can't see. Get in there like this. Alright, so we gotta line up these holes with this screw. So let's see if we can get one to line up, and then maybe we can get lucky and the other one will line up too. I think we missed right off. See how I went all the way down and didn't hit anything? That ain't gonna help us. Let me cheat. Let me see if we can...
right off.
Rah.
Can I put the cap back on this loop?
Yeah, go ahead and put the cap on it. Let's see if we can cheat. Come on, get out of there.
Last thing we need is this gear loop splurching everywhere.
Alright. So let's see if we can find the bottom hole, and then we'll put the cover on with the top hole, and then we'll take the bottom. You listening? Or you making noise? And then we'll do this, and if we can find this hole, then we'll line up the top hole. Alright. I think we found the hole. That means this motor will now pivot on that screw, right? So when we install this cover, we can just turn the cover out of the way like this. If I can hold it.
I didn't know the screws hold the motor and the cover.
But we can do this, and I can find this other screw, and then we'll take that screw out and rotate it back down. That sound like a plan? Alright, because that cover is going to be a pain in the butt. I think we got her though. Now we can take this screw out, and we're going to rotate the cover back into place.
We had to give the front suspension more beef, so we got some nylon, chopped it on the lathe, and bam. We did a lot of work on this thing.
Well, that's the nice thing about this one is we can do work on it, right?
Because it has a whole lot of screws. You actually have to build it. And Harley race cars have a lot more power than my race cars. This race car has turned into my hobby. Dad gets the grasshopper. When we're done, do you think we should race them?
Well, maybe. We'll see. All right, so the motor is now installed, right? Not loose. Probably gonna stay on there. Let's get these wires through here. We'll have to cut these plugs off, and we'll have to hook the wires up. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We can't use these plugs. I can see that this one went to yellow. See that yellow there? So this one's going to go to the red, and that one's going to go to the black, even though they're not quite. We probably got to rewire the whole car someday, you know what? But let's worry about that later. So we can't use these plugs, so let's cut them off just as long as we can. As much room as we can. And then we need to strip these wires. Alright, I'm going to use this. So I'm going to cut through the insulation with this razor blade. And then we can pull it off. Maybe. No faith. You have no faith.
I have no faith in myself when I'm even picking up a razor blade.
Well, you gotta be careful. You have to be careful with them.
If you force me to pick one up, I'd probably grab a magnet.
These are harder wires. Probably need to rewire this someday. You know what? All together.
We did rewire those two wires.
Yeah, I think we need to rewire the whole car. These are not the right wires here.
When we do rewire it, can we change the yellow and green to red and black?
Well, we got a new speed controller, right? So I think maybe we will rewire it when we get the speed controller in. We get a new speed controller in, maybe we'll rewire it with different colors.
Because when the grasshopper, before it goes big, ring, ring, ring. And if you really toggle the controller, it just goes.
All right. So these are red. We're gonna go red to here. We probably need some longer wires too. These are a little short.
The grasshopper has a lot more reverse. This thing.
Are you paying attention? I'm paying attention to you, and I'm not paying attention to what we're doing. We want heat shrink tubing on that, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm paying attention to you and not what I'm doing. Get that on there. Let's do the other side too before I forget again. I almost soldered
any
these.
other colored shrink tubing?
I don't have any this size. We need to buy some more. I think all I have is green in this size. We can order some. There.
We get the red and black wires. You should probably get the black stuff.
Okay. Well, now we need to solder it together. So let's plug in the soldering iron. Okay. Get those soldered together so they won't come apart. It's smoking?
Yep.
That means it's melting the solder that's already on there. Can they see it in the camera? No. You're off camera. So there's solder already on here, right? And that's melting it where I had it last time. That means it's hot. So now we need to touch this here and get our wires hot. And then we can add more solder to the wire and it'll glue those together and it'll make it so they can't vibrate apart.
There's an acid called rosin that makes it stick.
Yeah, it's a cord. If you look inside this solder real careful, if you cut some of it off, it's hollow. And inside there is a rosin. And what that does is it cleans all the oxidation off the wire.
That's a lot of smoke.
Yeah, it is.
Viewers are probably seeing the screen go blurry.
Yeah, you might be able to see some smoke on the screen, right?
That's a good sign that the dad's probably gonna burn himself soon.
We got too much solder on that one. Let's see if we can get it to get off of there a little bit. A little too much solder.
What are these splurches that are already on paper?
I think it's where I dyed my boots. With leather dye? Yep. I think that's where I dyed my boots. I did them on here. And I just used the same paper because there's no sense wasting paper, right? Alright, so there's that job.
Either you use it or burn it.
Yep. Sometimes we use to light campfires with, right?
Because everyone knows I love to camp.
No sense wasting the paper, but this one's still pretty good. So I went ahead and used it. We don't care if it's got some black spots on it.
I once even camped in the basement, then my bedroom.
Heat gun. So we need to get these, once these are cool enough I can touch them a little bit. I'm going to fold them nice and flat. And then we want to move our heat shrink tubing over our bare wire here.
Can I try working the heat gun?
Maybe. Let me get this part done, okay? I'm going to get these bended over. That one still has a little too much solder on it, but we'll make it work. We overdid it. Little bit too much solder on that. Alright. You know how to work that thing?
low, right?
Yep, push it up to go low. And you point it right at our heat shrink. Try not to burn a rubber band if you can. Those are hard to get on. You push it right at it. Take a minute to get warm. You see it starting to shrink? You keep hitting it until it shrinks all up. And that one back one too. Make sure we get it back there. Alright, pretty good. Turn her off. We probably are going to have to wire this car sometime. Plug our battery back in so we don't forget, right? We'll forget and then it won't work. We need to get these wires, I think, longer. We get the new speed controller. We might move those wires so they go underneath it and get all these wires out of the way. Because those run right under our battery, right? We don't really want that. Maybe we'll re-engineer and rewire.
The new speed controller shouldn't take up this much space.
It'll be a little smaller because we're going to get a digital one to see if we can make that work, right? Alright. Battery.
Battery ain't that plug from the wall.
Well, that'll stay hot for a while, so we want to make sure we don't touch nothing with it, okay? A little metal shiny part on there stays hot for a minute.
Or two.
Get that all unplugged out of our road. Alright, that's our battery in there. Looks like our rubber bands are getting a little loose. We need to hook another, I think we're going to need to move some stuff around here so we have a better way. The battery is always in the wrong spot in this. It needs to go there, but it's the wrong kind of battery and I can't find the hump battery we need, right?
I call them humpback batteries.
Yeah. So we got it here, but the original battery would have went there, but the new batteries are all long. I haven't found one that has a hump in it yet.
And that would have turned it into a total wheelie machine.
Yeah, it does wheelies if you do that, right? Alright, so we got the wire in.
And still, if you jump a giant log, it goes ring.
Before we put the tires on it, let's see what it do. Right? So let's put this on something that isn't touching the ground.
I've tried setting it just on the motor housing. It works. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, we got something not going right, huh? Let's check the gears and see if maybe something not going good, huh?
So that means we'll have to tear apart the gearbox after all?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to look. Let's have a look and see. The grasshopper, if you think about it, it makes a big noise too, right? When it goes ring. So it might just be where it goes. But let's make sure we got our gears meshing good. That'd be something to check, right? I don't know if we can see them in here or not. Let's have a look.
Don't spit grease everywhere.
Doesn't sound bad there, right?
Could be you just need to break in the motor.
I don't know. Could be. Let's see what our gears look like.
It did it with the old motor. It went.
Let's see if we can get one of these screws out and just turn this a little bit and see if we can see in there and see if our gears are meshing right. It might not be quite meshing good, right? Oh, let's get up there. Wah. Come on. There we go. Alright, so we need that to go tight in there. I wonder if I can adjust the screw a little bit, you know what I mean? See how the motor rocks? I wonder if we need to get that mesh in there tighter. Let's see if we can rotate the motor in towards it a little bit when I tighten it. Might just had it too far away. Could be the gears are all wrecked in the back end too, you know.
I think when we get the digital speed controller, it probably has these plugs on it.
It might.
Maybe cut those off too. And
we could actually buy the plugs and put them back on if you want. And have it where it plugs. I'm just worried the plugs might come loose is all. You know what I mean?
I think we should solder it, because I don't want my Mitsubishi just going...
Alright.
With only the power that it has left in the capacitor, I don't think it'll go.
Dun dun dun. getting better. I think it's just got some gunk. What do you think?
It'll probably go a lot better in reverse. Probably goes in reverse better now.
Well, I think we might have to run it. If it's got bad gears in here, then we'll have to change those later, right? I'm probably going to have to run it because I didn't see anything.
If you're looking at it close, you can see the speed controller motor moving across the little coil of wire.
That's the servo that moves the speed controller, right? And then it moves a...
And a little clock point and a coil of wire.
It's getting better. I think we might just run it. I wonder if the gear is just not meshing yet and it needs to adjust.
It needs to find a new home.
And if it does if it messes up our gears, we'll just have to rebuild the gears, right? We might just have to rebuild our gears. Could be they're old. The whole thing is old, right?
Surprised I haven't broke a rim yet.
We could also add a little more grease in there too.
More lube! I think more lube ought to fix it.
Well, probably couldn't hurt, right?
Probably couldn't hurt. Can I try adding the lube?
Well, let me get her open here. You still got to put the wheels on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting any in there? I think you're putting it in there, but I can't see if you're putting it in there. Well, let me see.
Probably getting in there.
Yeah, I think we're getting some there. We want to save some for the other car too, right? All right, that'll maybe quiet her down a little bit. We'll see.
Do you think we should go the grasshopper too?
Maybe in a bit. Right now, let's worry about this one, okay?
Put more on her.
All right. Put the wheels back on, right?
Honestly, I think if you ask me, I love this thing so much I burned it up.
Well, they do wear out, right?
I also broke the wheelie axle, spun off the lug nut, lost the bushing, and a whole lot more.
You are a bit hard on it, I'll have to admit. You're a little rough on it.
That's because I tried going up the mountains and doing a wheelie, and then up the other mountain and down doing a wheelie.
You're a little bit rough on the car.
But the real Mitsubishi has four-wheel drive.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could get a four-wheel drive one. Those are expensive. I'd like to have a four-wheel drive. For our yard, what we do, I think a four-wheel drive would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Do you think we could wire the gearing up to the front to make this one four-wheel drive?
Well, it'd have to have a whole nother axle, wouldn't it? We'd have to get a whole nother axle, remember? Or a drive shaft to connect to another whole pinion, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have that.
But how do you make it suspension and...
Well, they would independent, just like a real four-wheel drive, just like Grandpa's truck. You have axle shafts that would move, right? We'll give it a real test run, but let's get all this stuff tucked in first and get the body back on it.
You see how fast it goes and how long...
I'm hoping it'll go faster.
And there needs to be a brake button on that controller, because on the concrete it'll probably go... But if you had a brake, you just
chains.
go beep.
We need to work on different chains. These chains aren't going to work because they keep binding up. We need a smoother chain, right? I'm going to get the antenna to go through here. Slide that up through here. And this car body needs to rest on there, and then these little clips. Pop on there.
Pop together like that. Trailer hitch.
Get in there. This chain fighting me. You hear? See it binding up?
It's just about as annoying as
we're gonna need new chains. Those chains, there you go. Those chains aren't great. All right. Well, I think we should take it out in the yard and go run it a bit.
I think I might want to put my weight back in it before.
That sounds better. Oh, you need the weight in the back?
Yep. I like to have weight in the back.
Well, I didn't put the weight in the back. We just use this old battery for weight, right? Stick it in there for the weight.
It has 2 heat bubbles, but it still fits.
Well, that gets it more traction, right? Because without the weight, it's too light in the back and the thing just bounces around too much. So that holds the back tires down a little bit so you can actually get traction in the dirt, right?
Speaking of traction, we need to figure out how to get this weight up.
Well, we need to fix the body on a different day because that's all broken, right? You know, it'd be nice to have it tighter. So we need to add a piece of metal here and then put the bumper back on so it'll fasten together and hold this down, right?
Yes, I did. I did hit the bumper off.
We could also just do like race cars and have hood pins that just come straight through the top. And put pins in here like it's in the back.
That would probably look weird.
Well, it's just an option.
I guess that might actually look good because there'd be chains hanging around. And they'd go clink, clink, clink.
So we might have success. You want to go take out in the yard and give her a go?
Yeah, let's take the camera too. On most old cars, it also has a differential, which is a thing of
Well, don't knock this on the ground.
that allows you when one wheel gets stuck, the other wheel just spins freely.
Right. That's what this differential does here, right? So one wheel can turn while the other one is stuck.
Also found in Dad's truck.
Yep, keeps you from breaking stuff. All right, grab your car. We'll drop the remote. All right. Let me put some stuff away. I'll be up there in a minute.
Got any extra hands?
Not at the moment. Let me see what I got.
You don't see this kind of stuff on Hollywood, but here we go.
It's faster. Slow down, dude. Slow down. All right. Give her some go. I think you're gonna need more practice.